What's up, North Cal NWA? It's your boy, Niner Sickness, with the Niner Sickness Show, coming to you tonight, Friday night talk, Niner talk, baby. I'm going to bring some guests in tonight. We're going to talk football. We're going to have fun. 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 Yes, sir. We're going to bring in my boy, Bret Hart. Bring him in. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Beto? How you doing, brother?
Good, bro. Good to see you, man. I'm
Thanks for
just going to
having me,
be
man.
no problem. Glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you. I'm going to just give me a minute. I'm just going to start inviting some people in. What's up, Nathaniel? How you doing, brother? Let me bring some people in real quick, and we'll get this party started. So how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good, bro. Representing this red and gold. I'm going to the Pro Bowl, Lord will, event tomorrow and the game on Sunday. I already got my ticket, so I'm representing the day early.
That's right. You're going to be at the Pro Bowl. You're going to take a lot of pictures and videos.
I got y'all, bro. I'll send them to you.
That'd be awesome, bro. That'd be awesome. If you can, don't worry. But if you can go live for a few minutes from the Pro Bowl and just give a shout out to the North Cal NWA Niners with Attitude group that I have, that'll be awesome.
I'll do it for you, bro. I got you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So I'm glad you're on here, bro. I'm glad. Let's talk some football. So what do you think, man? What do you think is gonna what do you think we're gonna do with the draft, brother? I just want to get your insight on what your opinion, what we're gonna do with the draft.
Man, it's so many options, man. I feel similar as last year. I feel we still have some holes to fill across the board. We can go so many directions. So right now, at this stage, it's kind of hard to tell. If I had to say something today, like this minute, I'd say we go edge rusher. I don't think we're trading back. I think we'll take the best edge rusher that's available. Me personally, I'm not. I'm okay with. I can't really say who I'm okay with because it's still too early to tell. There's still a lot of evaluation left. College guys, a lot of them can be bust or pan out. But I'm not. I'll say this, man. I'm not as high on Nick Bosa as a lot of other people.
Okay. I'm a big Josh Allen fan myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh Allen are able to fit both. We have two needs. We need a pass rusher and we need a linebacker. And I think Josh Allen can fit. We can get two for the price of one, per se. As Bosa is nothing but a pure pass rusher, but we also need some linebacker help. So that's one of the reasons why I rather go with Josh Allen over Bosa if those two are available for us to pick.
Right. Yeah. The thing I like about Josh Allen is he's versatile. He can play all over the field, man. He can be used so many different ways. Bosa, my biggest concern with him is the injury. The injuries that he sustained in college. Like he seems to be injury prone. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
football is a violent game. Anybody can get hurt, but it's crazy. Bosa's dad had injury problems. Bosa's brother had injury problems, and Bosa himself does as well. The injury health is a concern, the availability, but as far as the talent, very good player. I'm not going to sit here and say I'd be mad if we get him, but I'm just saying that I don't feel that if we don't get Bosa, we're done. Like there are some Niner fans who are fanatical about Bosa. I'm not one of them. I'm like, hey, Allen is just as good, if not better. I feel Williams from Alabama is probably the best player out there. So
Yeah, I think so too. I really think, I think people are, I mean, anything can happen in the draft, brother. Anything can happen. We're not GMs. We don't know exactly what everybody's thinking, but I think that the Cardinals are not going to go Bosa with pick number one. I think if they pick Quentin Williams, nose tackle from Alabama, or they may go offense, Jonah Williams, offensive line to protect their new quarterback they had, or they might even try to trade that quarterback and pick up the other kid. What's his name? The one that decided not to play baseball for my A's, but decided to go into football.
Right.
They might even go after him. So based on what based on what the Cardinals do, is going to be up for us what we're going to do. Now, a question to you, and I want to get your personal opinion. We're sitting the Cardinals. They don't pick Bosa, no Josh Allen. They pick up either Quinn Williams or Jonah Williams, one of the Williams, and we're sitting there at number 2, and we have our choice between Josh Allen or Joey or Nick Bosa, excuse me, or we're getting a bunch of phone calls, and there are teams that are desperately want to get one of those pass rushers and offer us crazy picks for them. Would you be willing to pass on one of those 2 premier pass rushers for more draft picks and maybe go down a little bit and get someone like Farrell from Clemson and get those additional picks? Or would you stay at 2 and pick someone like Allen or Bosa?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm actually open to trading back if we get a player of a magnitude like I'm hearing we're considering the Jacksonville Jaguars. That they were looking at getting a quarterback. If Jalen Ramsey was included in that deal, and we got moved back to what 7,
7.
I'd be open to it absolutely, because getting a player like Jalen Ramsey through an acquisition and getting a pretty good edge rusher is not a bad trade off. I don't feel that Bosa is any far ahead of anybody else in this class. I just don't. I feel like he's a very good edge rusher, but so is Farrell, so is Montez Sweat, so is
That's right.
Josh Allen. I mean, I don't feel like he's any better. I ask people that are Bosa fanatics, do they feel like he's better than his brother? 95% of them say no, he's not. So with that being said, I don't really feel like you know it's something to panic if we don't get him at number 2, even if he's available. I think trading back, getting Ramsey is certainly something I'm open to. But if we did get Bosa, I wouldn't be mad either. I'd be like, we got what people are believing to be the best edge rusher in the class on paper anyway. And if he turns out to be great, hey, that's great.
That's good. That's a good point. There, Hitman. It's a good point that you're making. We can't go wrong. Niners can't really go wrong with Bosa or Allen, but we do need to accumulate more picks because we have a lot of holes we got to fill if we want to get better fast. And people don't realize the assets that picks, the value of picks can be for us right now. It's a hot commodity for us. Yes, what people don't realize either is there's a lot of good pass rushers in this year's draft. It's just the names that we mentioned are the most common ones that people are talking about. That people are talking about Bosa and the Sweat and Allen. But there's a lot of good pass rushers out there that if our scouts are doing their due diligence and looking into this, we can find a pass rusher like we found George Kittle, out of Iowa in the 5th round. There are a lot of possibilities out there. We just got to make sure that we do our due diligence in looking at these, having our scouts take a look at these players. But there's so many good players. So trading down would be something that I would definitely be feel good about. Trading with Jaguars, you make a good point. Everybody knows Boros is out. He's not going to do nothing for them. They need to upgrade a quarterback. They want the kid from Ohio State. They can move up with us, give us not only Ramsey, but also a 2nd-round pick for that 2 spot. And then we take the 7. So we'll get Ramsey, their 7th spot for our 2, and then we'll get their 2nd round as well this year and maybe a third next year within that draft. And if you look at the draft bracket based on the points, that's probably about right. And we definitely cover two key positions, which is we need someone to help Sherman back there, and Ramsey will do that. Can you imagine having those two guys locking down our backfield, and then maybe bringing someone like Earl Thomas into play as well, and then getting someone like the likes of Farrell, or even in the free agency? I really believe the Niners. Now, some people don't like them, some people do. I tend to like them a little bit, but DeMarcus Lawrence, it's a good chance that he may very well become a free agent. I don't think Cowboys can afford to franchise tag him again, because they'll be paying him $20.5 million for that year. So this would be his second franchise that he gets, and I forgot where they're at. They're at the cap at the moment, but they still got to sign Cooper. They got to sign Dak. They got to sign Ezekiel Elliott. They got a lot of people to sign on that team, so I don't think they can afford to tag him or sign him. They're trying to get him into a deal now, but if they don't get him into a deal now, he may be available. And I want to know what your opinion is on DeMarcus Lawrence. Do you think he'll be a good fit for us? He's only 26, I believe. His sacks did go down quite. I mean, the year before was 14.5. This year was 10.5 sacks. But this kid is a dynamite kid, man. So, but I want to get your insight and your true opinion on DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, any player of that caliber, you know, I guess that depends on how much he's demanded to obtain, because I don't want to throw the farm to get him. You know what I mean? As far as his injury history,
17, 18 area.
Yeah. I'm not really feeling putting up a lot of things out there money wise for a player of that caliber, because his injury history, something that I would look into more, but availability, but also just the fact that he's a young player, he's a good talent, but at the end of the day, we have other young talented players that are going to require payday in the future. And I'm thinking about stability. Like, everything I'm saying tonight is around stability. I want to emphasize that, because I know people are going to listen and say, you're crazy. We need to get this guy. We need to get that guy. The reality is, I don't want to be a team that is going to be in a situation as other teams not able to pay their up-and-coming superstars that they have no idea. Like, what makes San Francisco unique, we have a lot of young talent on this team. Most of our guys have not played a full season. Let that sink into a lot of people who will say their thing. I don't have a problem with people's opinions, but I'm just wanting them to think a little bit rationally about the stability. All I want is stability and longevity. I want success for a while. I don't want to get a player here, get a player there, and then when it comes time to our young guys, that like Fred Warner on defense, we have, that's going to be a payday soon. I think he's good. We're going to have other guys that require payday, Pettis, Kittle. So at the end of the day, acquiring a guy like that, or any guy who requires a lot of money, if he wants to come in demanding a lot of money, I'm a little bit hesitant on that, man.
So you know what? So basically, what I'm hearing from you is you want to bring some players in that can fit some holes, but you don't want to mortgage the future with the Niners, because you're right. We're set at quarterback, but DeForest Buckner is going to be coming up, and as he's progressing to become better, he's going to demand a good chunk of our money. So, and then if we bring in if Dante Pettis continues to play better, he's going to request money as well, especially George Kittle. Right now, I believe he's the hottest tight end right now besides Kelsey in the NFL. He's only going to get better. So he's going to demand a pay raise once he's due. So I hear what you're saying. I think if we can bring Lawrence or Clowney into our fold anywhere between the 13 to 14 mil, I think that's doable. That wouldn't hurt us much. But anything above 16 or 17, you're absolutely right. As good as they are, we will definitely be mortgaging our future, and that's something we don't want to do. In our team, because our team's only going to get better. Like I talked to a lot of people that are Rams fans. I know they made it to the Super Bowl this year. And if they win it, then they're paying off. But they don't realize that, okay, they get an extra ring, but the longevity of it is not going to be there. They're going to lose Peters. They're going to lose Tilly. They're going to lose Sue. They're not going to sign these guys for so they're going to be able to afford to sign them, and then their quarterback is going to require to get paid, and so the Rams win all in now to win because I know they're building a stadium up in LA, and they had that reason to do that. But and fans I talked to a lot of Rams fans, and they're like, we're going to be set for the next 5-6 years. I'm like, are you watching the same thing I'm watching? You're not going to be set for the next 5-10 years. You're crazy. You guys are going to be in such in a negative side in about 3 years from now. So if you guys win this year, next year, then you know what, it balances out a little bit. You got two Super Bowls. I can see it balance out. But if they lose to the Patriots, and that's a big task because they are playing Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They lose, that's an extra year less. Now they have a year or two to go. So what they don't realize is that if they take advantage of it and they're able to win a Super Bowl, it's going to be good for them. But their team is not going to be together for the next 3 or 4 years as they think that it is. And so I hear what you're saying. You want to be able to. One thing you notice about the Patriots, why they are in the Super Bowl, besides being in a weak conference, obviously, or division, but it's because Belichick doesn't pay players a lot of money. You want to start getting money? Get out of here. You're out of here. Blue collar workers. He brings blue collar players that just does their job. He says, do your job, and that's all they need. He don't pay. If you look at their roster, Tom Brady doesn't even make that much money. The guy Wentz is about to get his 6th Super Bowl and 6th ring. And the guy, I don't know what his bracket is financially, but he's way in the bottom of quarterbacks right now of what they're getting paid. So with that said, they don't pay their players a lot of money. That's why they're able to go to the Super Bowl as often as they go. And people don't realize. See, on Saturday, this man, is a lot of people today. They want everything fast. It's like in and out drive-throughs. They want to fix now. They want to win now, but they don't realize that yes, even if you get a win now, but if the team dissolves within a year or two, I don't want to go back. I don't want to get a taste of winning a year or so and then losing. Look at when Harbaugh came in. We started getting a little. Before that, we were always losing. We felt like crap. We went through a lot of coaches changes. Then Harbaugh came in. Then we went to 3 consecutive championship games. We started feeling good. And then what happened? We went downward again. I don't want to go through that same situation. What a lot of these fans don't realize is if you bring a lot of expensive free agents into the effect, yes, we can chance to win now, but I want to be consistent for 10 years. I want to be consistent for 8 years. I want to be in the playoffs for 5 or 6 years in back to back. I don't want to go to the playoffs next season and miss the next season. I want to be consistent. So in that perspective, I agree with you 100%. You got to build for the future, and that's through the draft. I forgot who it was that said this, and I forgot his name, but he said that we don't build through the draft, we build through the free agency. I'm like, you're an idiot. No disrespect, but you build through the draft, you fit holes through free agency.
Right.
And that's and right now we're not a championship team. We're not a good team. Why bring in a big top? Now I understand if we were a player or two away to making the Super Bowl, then you can bring someone in that costs some money.
Right.
But we're not there yet.
Right.
So why are we going to pay like AB? I love AB, but if we pay him a lot, by the time we get better and be able to catch up to him, he'll already be downgraded. AB only has 2 years. I'd love if he comes, but by the time we get better, he'll be 2 years old. I mean, he's 31? He'll be 33?
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you bring someone like OBJ that is only 26, by the time we catch up to 2 years from now, we get better, he'll still be in his prime. He'll still be able to be effective. And that's what a lot of fans don't agree with me. They think that we got to bring AB. And I'm not, now for the right price, I'm okay. But if we're going to give a lot of picks, or if we're going to give the number 1 or even our number 2, which is high this year, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it because he only offers us 1, 2, maybe 3 years tops. Where are we going to be within a year or two? Now, if you want to correct me, if you agree with me, it's fine. If you don't, that's up to you. But let me know what's your opinion on AB and I totally respect your own opinion on what you think about it, AB. But what's your opinion on him? I'm bringing him to the Niners.
It's consistent with everything you said. It's consistent with what I stated, earlier with any player from any team. I feel like, at the end of the day, I mean, again, I'll be in a minority, man. With you and with a few others that is not on the AB bandwagon train, if you will. I'm not a fan of acquiring Antonio Brown. I agree with you. It's too premature. We're not at a championship roster to acquire a player of that magnitude right now. Plus,
Right.
people have if they're paying attention to what his teammates are saying about him. I mean, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
get a guy who's cancerous to the team. Here's a funny thing. A lot of people that wanted Antonio Brown are the same people that wanted to get Reuben Foster off the team because of his cancer to the team. Are the same people that previously, before Reuben Foster, wanted to get rid of Alden Smith because his cancer is to the team. But yet they want to acquire a guy who's a cancer to the Steelers. It makes no sense, man. Like, I understand he's a great talent at wide receiver. I understand that our wide receivers right now, we have nobody on Antonio Brown's level. However, we also have young players that we really don't know what they're going to be, like Pettis. We don't know. We've seen what George Kittle has been his first year. I mean, this past year. So at the end of the day, I feel we can develop our talent. We can get receivers where Antonio Brown, what we would be giving up to get him, we'll be mortgaging our future again. Like, we can get a guy like off the free agent. Like, I like the guy from the Ravens, the receiver Brown. I like him a lot. And a lot of people might not think about him, but if they remember, he played with the Arizona Cardinals. I remember him torching the hell out of us pretty often.
Yep.
And then he goes to the Ravens. He had a pretty good productive year before Lamar Jackson came over. So, we can get a guy like Brown for much cheaper with Pettis and Kittle. Those three guys combined can give us a lot of good production. And we don't have to pay for one player, overspend, and mortgage our future. You say as long as we get production out of three guys combined, we can get that same production, if not greater, I believe.
I agree. And I'm going to read some comments. I know you can't see the comments, Mr. Hitman, but I'm going to read them, a couple of comments, and I'll answer them, and I'll have you answer the comments as well. David Roy says, what's the right price? And I believe he's talking about AB. For me personally, the right price would be, which it won't happen because the Steelers will not accept it, but I'll give a third, depending on what the price range, but I won't pay him no more than $10 million per year, and that's not what he's going to take. So trying to figure out unless you're going to pay him what he wants, it's like trying to put the wrong puzzle in the wrong spot. It's not going to work. So you're just going to get a headache. So it's either you're on the trend about giving whatever he wants, or don't get him because he's not going to take what we offer him or the Steelers. So that's why I wouldn't go with Antonio Brown either. I understand he's better than what we have. I understand that people we've been losing season after season. I've been hearing Big Show talk about he's tired of losing. Any fan that loves his team is tired of losing. But when you're in a situation like that, people make dumb mistakes.
Right.
People panic, and people when they're desperate, they make I won't say dumb, but they make wrong choices because of the situation they find themselves. That's when you got to kind of step back and say, okay, I'm not in a situation that I want to be in, but what's right for the team? What's right for now and what's right for later? And players like you mentioned, the guy from the Ravens, it's not a big name receiver, but you want to bring someone that can be effective for us. I mean, we already have Dante Pettis, which I believe he's going to be great for us. Some people don't like him, so people want to cut him already, but I think Goodwin is a great player for us, slot player for us. He just went through some tough times this season, losing his twin babies, his wife. So, but I think we have him. We have George Kittle. We have Kendrick Bourne that a lot of people don't like, but I think Kendrick Bourne, there's still some hope for him. So we have some young kids in there that we can continue to develop. We still haven't seen anything with Jared McKinnon. I think when he comes in healthy, he's going to bring a whole different dynamic to the team, to the offense. We're going to go a different direction because of him. He's going to be like he's going to be like a Kamara for the New Orleans Saints for us. He's going to be able to move around behind the linebackers, and he's going to be able to move in space. And that's something you want. He can run through the tackle, but he can also run through space, and that's what you want in him. And then we have Matt Breida that, even though he got hurt, but I think having Jared McKinnon going. And real quick, I want to apologize. I know you hear like a beep. That's my fire alarm battery. I haven't had a chance to change it. I am disabled, so I'm not able to get on like a ladder and fix it. So a lot of guys like, how hard is it to change a battery from a dam? But when you can't go on a ladder because of your disability, and you live in an area where there's not that many people, it's not as easy as it seems. So if that beep, I apologize to everybody for the beep. But with that said, so I also I agree that we got to not mortgage our future. Now, David wants to know, like I said, I repeat the question. I went a little bit too long-winded. I apologize. What is the right price? So for you, Mr. Hitman, what would be the right price? Is there a right price for Antonio Brown if he would take that price?
Before I answer that, I wanted to address a couple things when you were talking about some of the comments. I can see a few of them. I just choose not to read all of them because I'm trying to focus on what you're saying. The couple comments that I did see, I saw one person say that I don't know if they were talking about Nick Bosa being better than his brother. I don't know if they were responding to someone, but again, that has yet to be seen. You know, anybody can hype up anybody who's getting a lot of hype. But just like last draft, a lot of people wanted so many players, and we went Mike McGlinchey. You know what I mean? People didn't see that coming. And then when we got him, it took a little bit, but they started warming up to him. So I don't necessarily get hyped up off of what, other like announcers and commentators are saying. At the end of the day, Bosa hasn't played a snap in the NFL, so it's kind of hard if someone's out there saying he will be better than his brother. That has yet to be seen. So that's just speculation, you know what I mean?
Good point. Good point.
And I saw another comment where someone said that pass rushers get hurt. Like I said, I'm not really reading all the comments because they're coming in. I'm just trying to focus on me and you talking, or whoever's on here. But when they say edge rushers get hurt, I haven't seen anyone miss as many games as Bosa that's in the top, edge rushing in the top 10 right now. If you look at Josh Allen from Kentucky, if you look at Clelin Ferrell, those guys played every game. They're available for their team. So I'm not really sure why somebody would say all edge rushers get hurt. Bosa missed almost the entire season. Allen and Ferrell didn't. So not really sure where they're coming from with that. Montez Sweat was healthy. Not really sure, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But anyway, getting back to the question you were presenting, and just run that Bobby one more time because I was trying to respond to the you were saying about the price, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a price that you think he's worth if he would take to come to us? What would it be in your opinion?
Honestly, I don't think there is a price because he's too big. He's an elite receiver. It's funny you mentioned Big Show. It's funny you mentioned him because me and him had an off-air conversation. I'd rather him, if he has time, if he's aware. Shout out to Big Show. We had like an hour conversation about wide receiver. If he's available on the show, I'd love to come back and finish that or get a little bit more in detail. But when we talked off air, basically he's everyone knows Big Show is keen on getting a number one receiver. Antonio Brown, there's no price for him because he's an elite receiver. He's gonna come with something that we have to give value to obtain. So we're not gonna get it for cheap. But I think with Big Show's perspective, I strongly disagree with. If you look back since Michael Irvin, because he's talking about having a number one receiver, having somebody teach our young receivers, how to be good or whatever. If you look at all these Super Bowl teams since Michael Irvin, you probably can only name one Super Bowl team that's had that top-notch receiver, and that's probably the Rams when they were in St. Louis, when they had Holt. Outside of that, most of these teams don't have a number one winning Super Bowls. You can't name, in the last 20 years, you can't name a team with the number one receiver that's repeatedly won Super Bowls. In fact, you see teams that have 2 or 3 tight ends, like New England is using 3 tight ends, multiple tight ends, winning multiple Super Bowls. They're not having a big number one receiver. And Big Show is also the same person that said he wanted Josh Gordon And I told him personally that would be a bad move for the 49ers. He stressed that in the beginning of the season when Gordon was available to hit the market. Oh, we need to get him. And I'm like, why would you want a player that have not played in 3 seasons? Let that sink in. He missed 3 seasons, not due to injury, but due to other relations that have nothing to do
Off the
with
field
injury,
issues, yeah.
off the field issues. And you want a player of that magnitude because you feel like he's productive. Again,
But if he's not on the field,
yeah. So from what I see, New England reached the Super Bowl without this elite receiver.
yep.
This is why I tell people when they want number one big brand name receivers, I ask them facts. Name me a team since Michael Irvin, outside of the Rams, since Michael Irvin, that has won the Super Bowl. You can find more teams that have won without big brand name receivers than teams that have. So New
Yes.
England is a perfect example of that in modern era. They are winning with multiple tight ends. They're not even using receivers like that. They're using tight ends, and they won. They look good. They look good in the modern era.
Yes, they do. That's right. Our boy Nathaniel says number one receivers are rarely on championship teams. So he's agreeing with your
Oh, big shout out to Nate, man.
statement.
Heart Foundation all the way. Big shout out to Nate always.
Nate's in the house. Kenny's in the house.
Oh, shout out to Kenny for sure.
Kenny's in the house. Who else is on here? This is here. Jimmy and Brown. One guy did not agree with you on the Brown receiver, but again, the beautiful thing of talking about football, we can all agree to disagree.
Sure.
You like John Brown. You like John Brown. Some people don't, but everybody is entitled to their opinion of what they think is best for our team, and we're not always going to agree with each other on everything. And that's when some people don't realize that people want big names, like you said, Big Show. It's interesting, Big Show. I love Big Show. I know he loves offense. He loves receivers. He wants to. He's very. He has a big conviction on receivers. He's like, but the gentleman that you were talking about, I forgot his name. The receiver you're talking about, Gordon.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, if we would have got him, to be honest, the Patriots can afford for him to do what he did and happen to them and didn't miss a beat.
Right.
We're not in that position.
We're not. If we would have acquired him and he's unavailable like he always has been, we will be hurting. New England can recover. Yeah. They're in a win mode now. They're fine. They're at a position where they can do that. So
go to the Super Bowl without him, absolutely.
Right. So if people, for the people that say they don't like, Brown from the Ravens, my question to them is, if you compare getting Antonio Brown from John Brown from the Ravens, my thing is, we're getting a cheaper option from a productive receiver. You can look at his season, very productive. His stats might have dipped a little bit when he was with when Lamar Jackson took over, but while he was with Flacco, very productive receiver. And again, I don't know if Niner fans remember, he torched us when he was with the Cardinals. I mean, dude has a good body of work.
Very well.
Yeah, he plays consistent very well. You know what you're getting. You know what I mean? He's a very dynamic receiver. He can do a lot of versatility type of things compared to what we have on our roster now. So he's a cheaper option. He's already proven. I don't understand why people would be objected to getting someone in favor of getting Antonio Brown, who we're mortgaging our future, and he's a head case with his team now. I just don't understand. Like I said earlier, same people that wanted Antonio Brown were the same people that wanted Aldon Smith and Reuben Foster off the team after their shenanigans. It just doesn't make sense to me. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, that is correct. And again, if we were in a position that we were a player or two away to be dominant in the playoffs and eventually go to the Super Bowl, then it will be very worth it to bring AB into our fold, because we need to win now. He's very productive now. Right now, it'd be good to bring him in, but we're not in a position to bring someone like AB. He's going to be great, but nobody else can catch up to him,
right?
Because we're still developing our team, and people don't realize. I know they like the big name. I know they love the production that he had with the Steelers, but we're not the Steelers.
Right.
We're not in that position. A lot of people say, you know what, Beto, why you such a hater on your team? I say, I don't hate my team, but I'm very realistic. I'm not a homer when it comes to my team. I have another group that is called NFL Red Zone, which deals with all 32 teams, and I talk to fans of all 32 teams, and I've never been a homer where, I want this or I want that or this is the way it is with my team. If my team screws up, I'm gonna let people know how they screw it up. If they do well, I'm gonna say, well, John Lynch is doing great. I'm gonna be on his side. If he's screwing up, I'm gonna be, this needs to go. Just based on what the production they're showing me as a fan, that is within my right as a fan. I want to win, but I don't expect to win tomorrow. I don't expect to win next season. I know it's going to take a while. I know if we draft, the key is drafting well. If you think about it, we haven't really drafted well with John Lynch and Shanahan. Yes, we got George Kittle, which is great, but we know, we I don't know. The thing with Solomon Thomas still hit him and missing goal. There's moving up to get what's his name our quarterback, the one that sat down. What is it? Please help me out here. What is his name? It went out of my mind. Not Nate Mullins, but the other C.J. Beathard.
C.J. Beathard.
We moved up to get C.J. Beathard for what? We lost some capital to get him, and he's worthless. He's no good. You know what I mean? We could have used that capital for someone else. I forgot what player we could have got, and I know the could have whatever, but we could have. I forgot the name of the player. I was talking to a friend earlier about a player that we could have got that is very good, but we were not positioned to get him because we gave that spot up because we moved up to get CJ. CJ might not even be on the team because of what Nate Mullins showed us. So targeting the right players first and foremost is going to be key on the development of our team in the future. Drafting players that can fit our scheme will be great, but not overpaying. Thank you, Ahmad. Fred Warner is another good draft. Yes, he is. Fred Warner. But if you think about the draft, we had 11 picks the last season. I mean, last draft, and I believe 10 the first. And if you have 11 picks and you only got 2 players that you can say they're good, that's pretty bad. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Streets. I think Streets is still, with the injury. If he started balling as a defensive end for us, and then that'll be 3. But it's unknown with him. Other than Fred Warner and George Kittle, who else really have we drafted that blows your mind? That says, man, this guy's going to be great for us in the future. There isn't. At least not that I can think of. If you can think of one, let me know. But there isn't. And if we continue, Foster was another bad draft. Yes, people are excited to. I mean, I accepted him when we picked him, but I wasn't key on him. Especially the I don't know who twisted John Lynch's arm. I don't know if it was Kyle or the owner, but John Lynch comes from the old school. He's an old school cat. No nonsense, none of that garbage. He doesn't like that garbage in a team. He doesn't like to deal with that. And to bring someone with Foster's characteristic was actually surprising for me that he brought him in. That we moved up to get him. Now we did get him at the bottom of the first, and I'm glad we didn't get him in the beginning of the draft. But now he's gone because of character concerns. I completely want to stay with people that have character concerns. AB has character concerns. I don't like a player that gives up on their team. Once you're off the team, you're off the team. I understand, but they had a chance to make the playoffs this season, and he whatever reason he didn't want to be part of it, and they didn't start him, and they didn't make the play. But there could have been a chance they could have made it. So to me, he quit on his team. I don't care what the reasons are. There's other people on your team that want to be there. You support your team. You do your thing. Forget about management. Forget about what's going on. Once the season is over with, you move on if you have to move on. But while you're on the team, you do whatever you can for your teammates. He gave up not only on the Steelers, but he gave up on his co-workers, which is his teammates. And that shows me that it's all about him. Whatever he wants, it's not about the team. I don't want someone on my team that is about themselves. I want someone that wants to come and play for our team that is about the team. What can I do to make the team better? Not because of me, the team. Look at me, but what can I do? To me, I always use this phrase: the best leader is the greatest servant. In order to become a good leader, you need to learn how to serve first.
Correct.
And that teaches the qualities of a leader. And AB doesn't show that. He's very, I mean, flying, going to practice on a helicopter and all these, all these things that he does, diva stuff. I don't need that headache. And I think right now, Kyle Shanahan is not a Bill Belichick.
Right.
A Bill Belichick can handle an AB. And people want to hate me for that, hate me for that's fine. But Kyle Shanahan can handle a caliber player like AB. Bill Belichick can. So if he goes to the Patriots, it's a different story. But for us, I think it'll just be more of a distraction, and it can hurt us in the future than benefit us. So I personally want to move on. I hear all these things about how he wants to play for them. Of course he says that. Of course he wants to go to another team. What do you expect he's going to say? But it's not about what he wants. It's about what is best for the team. I never heard him say once on his post, say, you know what, I want to go to the Niners, but it's best on what the Niners need. So if I fit them, then maybe we work and sit down. No, he's just talking about him. I want players to come to the Niners and think about the team, not about themselves. Like Brown that you were talking about, he's not a big name. He's not going to wow you, but he's effective.
Sure.
He's effective. He knows his job. He does his job quietly. You want players like that are consistent. He's not going to wow you. He's not a Larry Fitzgerald type of receiver, but he's effective. He'll get you that first down. He'll get you those extra yards when needed. And those are the kind of players you need. But again, they're not the big name, Mr. Hitman. So a lot of our Niner fans, they want to hear big names. They want, like, another one that they want to bring in is a Bell. We don't need Bell for our team. That's just my opinion. For one, he's too much money. He's a headache, and we're already paying Jerry McKinnon, too much money. Why do you want two big contract players in the same position to be fighting for who gets first and who gets second? We don't need that type of distraction. So now that was brought up, I want your opinion on Bell. What do you think? Do you agree that he's a distraction, that he's not good for our team, or you think he can be beneficial for our team?
Before I get to that, Beto, I wanted to touch on one thing that you brought up about our the players that we acquired from the draft, and I'll get to the Bell.
Okay.
I have a little different outlook on it. I feel like Kyle Shanahan is in his third year now, so
yes.
It's kind of for me. It's a little bit too premature to judge the entire class when most of our players haven't even played a full season. If you look at our roster, a lot of these guys have been hurt. During stints of the season. So, like, for example, Pettis, he's been out, a few games this year. But when he's played, I was pleased with his productivity playing, because at the end of the day, when he came back from the injury, he seemed to show improvement each week. And what I'm looking for is improvement in our players. I'm not necessarily looking for them to be breakout superstars year one. Like Kittle, he had an immediate impact. He's doing his thing great. But the other players around him, like Pettis and Taylor and anyone else that we drafted, McGlinchey, if these guys can improve week to week, I know that they have good potential going forward in the future. So for me, I'm gonna hold off on the reservation of our players really aren't panning out at the moment, because in fairness, some of them have been injured. They haven't really had a chance to play a full season, and they haven't played with Garoppolo as well. So once our quarterback gets back, once McKinnon comes back, I think that we'll see a more improved offensive roster. But at the end of the day, it's too early. Like I said, they haven't played a full season. And I like Pettis, what I'm seeing out of him, to be honest. I really do.
I forgot about Pettis. I forgot about him. I like Pettis too.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about him.
Like with CJ Beathard, when people are slamming him, people got to remember he competed in a lot of games. We didn't close out offensively. Yeah, we didn't score like in the Green Bay game. We dropped off offensively going into the second half, but our defense also gave up a lot of points. I mean, Aaron Rodgers came down there and just drove the ball like it was nothing in the last possession of the game. There's only but so much Beathard can do as a second year. And again, he hasn't played a full season. He was also hurt games last year. He was hurt games this year. So I'm not going to slam Beathard right now. Even I think the problem is Nick Mullins came in unexpected and exceeded expectations, whereas Beathard had expectations and didn't quite get the results that people wanted. So they're looking at Mullins as being, You know, like it was getting crazy, Beto. There were people talking about Mullins even surpassing Garoppolo, and
Yeah, I
I'm
heard
like,
that.
has Mullins ever won on the road? And they get quiet. You know what I'm saying? Mullins did his thing though. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying I like
No, no,
Mullins.
no.
I'm glad he's, you know, our backup, and I certainly think he
But to
surpassed.
make comparisons to Garoppolo is absurd.
It's insane. Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain that. That's insane. But I think people that are really slamming Beathard at the end of the day, you know, Mullins exceeded expectations. For us to move up and get better, he's not getting the results. However, he hasn't really got like blown out in a lot of the games. I remember when he was a rookie, when he came in that Redskins game, he put up a lot of points and brought us back in contention to almost win that game. And then people were like, "Oh man, Better looks promising." Then after that, he has a bad half or something, and next thing you know, it's emotional. People are like, "I love him, I hate him." They did it with Mullins too. They're sitting here
Yeah,
bashing Better, but when Mullins had a bad game, I was at the Tampa Bay game, and they were like, "What the hell is Mullins doing?" But then all of a sudden, he comes back and beats Seattle. Oh, he's ready to be better than Garoppolo. People, people. What I see, Beto, is people are emotional. They're going
yeah,
off of week to week performance, and then all of a sudden they make a judgment. If you look at the body of work of Beathard and Mullins, to me, for to be young players, you know, in a system like this, I think they did pretty decent. I'm not going to say Beathard did awesome and great, but I wouldn't slam him. I would still give him some time. You know what I mean? But Mullins certainly showed that he's more than capable of being Garoppolo's backup, and I'm pleased with Mullins. Um, get into Le'Veon Bell. I don't know. I love our Niner family, Beto, but I'm not really feeling Bell at all. You know, it would be hypocritical of me to say I want Bell, but I don't want his teammate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Bell either. I'm going to stand firm. Like, anybody who's going to mortgage our future and demand that much money, my question is this to a lot of the people. If they want a guy of that caliber, we already have McKinnon, we already have Breida. Okay. What more money are we going to spend and what are we going to give up just to have another running back? Like, what are we going to do with Breida? Because if Bell comes in, he's going to want the ball a lot. He's going to want to be the go-to back, which is going to make McKinnon his backup. So what
yep,
happens to Matt Breida? You know what I
yep,
mean? Breida did pretty damn good this year to me. When he's healthy, he was like one of the top rushers in the league for a
yeah,
few weeks. So
yep. For the first 4 weeks, yeah,
we
you're
can
absolutely
make
right.
do with the running backs that we have. We should be taking that money and putting it into other things like our offensive guard. You know what I mean? Investing in filling up holes that are actually needed. Like running back, yeah, we can always use another back for depth, but we have other positions I feel that are a bigger need, like edge rusher, guard, offensive guard. You know, we got Staley. He's about to go out next year.
Hmm.
So we got to get a replacement. You know, we have some secondary help that we need as well. So we still got holes. We can get another compliment in linebacker to Warner since Reuben Foster's departed now. So there's still a lot of holes that we can still fill. Um, but yeah, you know, I'm not a fan of Bell either, man. To be honest, I hope he goes elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? You made a very good point about CJ Beathard. Um, I don't like a lot of his play, but the kid does have a lot of heart. He did play with a lot of heart. He did give everything that he could when he was on the field. And then Dante Pettis, I completely forgot about him when I was talking about the picks that we got. Dante Pettis, I think he has a very bright future for us. I think I think he can reach. He hasn't even started to look up or be the kind of receiver that we know he can be. And I think with a couple more years, he'll be very polished. And with the thing with Bell, I agree. I think there's so many holes to fill that we're okay. We have Jerry McKinnon. Whether people like it or not, he's signed on our team. He hasn't played a down for us. So I tell people, how can you truly judge him on what if he's good for our team or not if he hasn't even been on the field? You got to give an opportunity to be on the field to see that. And then with Matt Breida, I think the combination between Breida and McKinnon is going to be great. And then we also have what's his name, Mozart or whatever his
Yeah,
last name is.
yeah,
Uh, so we're getting back to right. Someone like the caliber of Bell, it's really not needed. And we do need a guard. We do need a guard because I don't like. I know Garrett. I know Garnett is still okay, but I'm not really sold on him. I think he'll be all right. But then we definitely need to start thinking about the replacement of Joe Staley because he has maybe about 2 years at the most playing for us, and so we got to start thinking like that. But again, there's a lot of names that people think of because they're flashy. They're the Corvette or the Porsche type of car. But if I jump in my Toyota and if my Toyota can get me to work and back just as well as the Porsche, maybe it's not as fancy and people are not going to look at me on my way to work, but I'm still going to get to work. And as long as I have something that I can ride and to be dependable, I'm fine. So real quick, your boy Big Show's in here. He just came in. So Big Show, as you're listening to me right now, I would love to have you and the Hitman come on the show and talk about receivers and talk about our Niners because I would love to hear the debate between you two or your perspectives on what we need for our team because I believe that as both of you guys may agree in some areas, but there might be in some areas that you guys may not agree in, and I would love to hear each and every one of your point of view in the direction that we should go, especially at the wide receiver, because I do know that Mr. Big Show loves wide receivers. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if we can bring AB, Larry Fitzgerald, and OBJ.
We'll get them all, right?
Yeah, and don't worry about the pass rush. Don't worry about linebackers.
Nah.
Don't worry about
Bring Jerry Rice back too while you at it, Beto.
yeah, bring John Taylor as well, JJ Stokes, and, and Ty Streets, and we'll start bringing the what I mean. And I know he loves receivers, and we do need playmakers. I mean, we do need to do. I mean, I'm not totally disagreeing with him. We do need playmakers. We do need to move the ball. We have to probably the worst red zone offense this offseason, and that has to change. But I think with Garoppolo and Jerry McKinnon being healthy, and one thing that now that the season's over with, those two guys have become really close, working with each other, not only in the rehab, so pushing each other to get better, but they're learning the playbook, they're learning the plays. I mean, when you have a quarterback in your number one running back getting to know each other, that's beautiful. That's music to my ears. That they're developing chemistry with each other off the field, and I heard they've been practicing, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they can provide for us in 2019. I think Garoppolo would elevate the Mr. Pettis style of playing better. Again, nothing against Nick Mullins. He did great. He pulled out some great numbers, but to be compared to Garoppolo and what Garoppolo has done, not only that, but the learning that Garoppolo did underneath Tom Brady. And any quarterback cannot is what's the word I'm trying to use? With Aaron Rodgers, he sat down under 3 years under Brett Favre.
Yeah, they had like some tutelage.
To learn. Yes, he learned not only the things what to do, but what not to do.
Right.
Whether Brett Favre taught him or not, just watching him play, correct, watching him in practice, it's I can't even start to say how much value that is.
Hey Beto.
Yes.
I wanted to say too while you read it, before I forget, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are saying, well, Garoppolo, we got him. You know, New England backups have a reputation of not being successful once they leave New England. But what makes Garoppolo unique is he didn't get shipped out right away like the rest of those guys. He stayed around for a while. So when he stayed there was, talks of Bill Belichick not wanting to let him go. And if Bill Belichick is coming out like pro Garoppolo, there's something to this kid. So what I see is Garoppolo. I'm glad we have him. I'm very confident in Garoppolo, and I believe he's going to kill that aurora about Brady's backups not being able to produce. I believe he's going to show it.
Yeah, and to make a point with that, what you said about Garoppolo, real quick before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to Kyle Benson. Kyle Benson, if you're still in here, that's my boy. He's a big Minnesota Viking fan, but he's in here, but he'll never disrespect a show like ours. That man has a lot of. I love this guy. He has a lot of credibility. He loves his Vikings, but he's very respectful. So if you can hear me right now, Benson, you're my boy. Going back to the Garoppolo situation, if you realize too, with the other quarterbacks that didn't work out, Garoppolo was the only quarterback that they took in the second round, high at the second round. No other quarterback was taken that high. For one,
Right.
Two, you're absolutely right. Belichick fought for Garoppolo. The only reason why Tom Brady stood there is because of Kraft. It's because of the relationship they had between him and Kraft. That's why Tom Brady stayed behind and not Garoppolo. If it would have been Belichick's complete decision, Tom Brady probably would have been with us and not Garoppolo. So a lot of people have that misunderstanding that Belichick let Garoppolo go because they knew after having him for so long that he was no good. He was not gonna plan out. Blah blah blah. That's just ludicrous to me. Ludicrous. And then if you seen the way he played last year when he came in, those 5 games, and not only that, but like I'll use a perfect example. Last year when he came in and won those 5 games for us, and my other group, Kyle Benson, being a Minnesota Viking fan, didn't really know too much about Garoppolo. So he's like, he's just been hearing all the Niner fans being all fired up for the Garoppolo. While when the Niners played Minnesota, he was at the game and he see Garoppolo for the first time play. Benson, being a Vikings fan all his life, his perspective of Garoppolo changed completely of the type of quarterback because he was able to watch him play. So his tone was completely different because what he watched. And so I like Garoppolo. I really believe he is definitely our future. Hooking him up with Dante Pettis, Mullins, and as long as we can build that defense line up again, we bring a pass rusher and bring another linebacker into that defense. Believe it or not, we're going to make some noise. I don't know how many games we're going to win. I've never been one to predict that, but I think we're going to make some damage in 2019. But to me, it's going to be who we signed, what players we signed, and then who we draft. It's going to make a lot of determination of what kind of season we may have and looking forward to having. But I believe in Kyle Shanahan. Another thing that I wanted to step in and talk about real quick too, and real quick, Kenneth, Bashar's in here. Kenneth, if the people that are typing, you guys interact with the comments as him, and we're talking on the show. I'll try to read some comments as well, but you guys can interact with each other on the comments as you guys are on the comments. But I think with us, with the Niners, I think what a lot of fans don't understand is I've been hearing that we should have hired Sean McVay instead of Kyle Shanahan. That it was a mistake that we let McVay pass. I'm not taking nothing away from McVay. Nothing. I think he's a great coach. But people don't realize he walked into a better situation with the Rams that Kyle Shanahan did with us. His situation with the Rams was a situation that was with Harbaugh came into us. Harbaugh came in to a team that was stacked because the previous coach did not know how to use those players, did not know how to utilize those players. That's why Fisher wasn't doing nothing with those players. Here comes Sean McVay. Credit to him. He was able to use them, utilize them the right way, brought some free agents, and be able to be where they're at. But to hear the comparisons between Kyle Shanahan and McVay, it's ludicrous to me because, for one, McVay learned from Shanahan, and Shanahan still hasn't been able to run his offense the way he wants to run it. He's able to open the playbook somewhat, but he hasn't been able to open up that playbook that he wants to open up. He hasn't had the players in position to perform the tasks that he wants. So, we haven't seen what Shanahan can really do, like what he did with Atlanta. We got to get those players in place. So, for all those Niner fans that think that McVay should have been with us, listen, man, you got to let that go. That is ludicrous. He's doing great with the Rams, but it wouldn't have been the same situation if he would have came with us. So with that said, I'm just going to read one question that Mr. Big Show says, and then we'll go ahead and move on from there. So Big Show says, we can't wait for players to develop. We're going into year 3 with players who we've shown no signs of development or growth. Only 3 players have really worked out for us in the draft. That's George Kittle, Warner, and McClinchy. He's leaving Dante Pettis out. He didn't mention Dante Pettis. But I would like you to answer that question, if you may, on your boy Big Show. He says that we're going on year 3 and we cannot wait for development anymore. He wants to win now. So what's your thought on that?
Well, if he wants to win now, he can be like teams that have the same mentality and win now and be eliminated and have no future. If that's what he wants, that's him. If he feels that the players haven't developed and shown anything, I didn't know. Again, I didn't know that you can judge players based upon them not even playing a full season. When players are hurt and then they're coming back, and then you're saying that they haven't done anything. I mean, it's too. It's like saying, it's like the people that are saying Solomon Thomas is a bust. He's not even playing his natural position, and he's not being. It's a little bit too early to hang him right now. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even in his natural position. He's playing out there. We know if they put him more inside, he's more effective. But when he's out there on the edge, he's not as effective, and I don't blame him for that. I want to see him be in a position to succeed, and right now we don't have the personnel to sit here and say, oh well, I don't want to wait. It's been 1 year, 2 year. The Rams have built through the draft for most of their players. It wasn't until recently that they acquired a lot of these guys. If Big Show wants to be a win now team like the Rams, they drafted majority of their team. They invested in majority of their team. They built majority of their team. Just like New England Patriots, they have sustainability because they didn't say, I want to win now. They say, I want to invest in my team, my players. And when the Randy Mosses of the world come along, the big brand name receivers that he likes, they didn't win the Super Bowl, did they, with Randy Moss, did they? And what happened when Randy Moss, after that year, they let him walk. They got 3 tight ends. What happened when they had Chandler Jones? They let him walk, and they replaced him. So New England has shown the ability to wait and invest in their players. And the Rams, to an extent, have shown the ability to wait and invest in their players. They went ahead and jumped the gun a little tad bit early, but they're in the win mode now, and that's what they want to do. They mortgaged the farm, so they're gonna have to win. And if they don't win, hey, they have no future. So basically, anyone who says I want to win now is basically saying I want to suck for a while in the future. And if that's just the reality of it. I mean, those are the facts. So if you're gonna tell me that the only 3 players you've seen show production is Warner, Kittle, and who was the third one? McGlinchey?
McGlinchey, yeah.
Okay. You totally dismiss Dante Pettis. You totally dismiss all the other rookies that we have. Some of them didn't even get an opportunity to play until halfway through the season. So it's not really fair to say that. You know what I'm saying? When we had injuries like to Garcon and Marquise Goodwin wasn't available, then you had Richie James and them started to step up. They didn't have an entire season to be able to get in there and show what they can do. So it's kind of unfair to say that when they haven't even played a whole season. Again, you cannot make an analysis on a player when they haven't played a full season, especially without their starting quarterback. That's insane to me. You know what I mean? To say that players aren't developing and we need to win now, they don't have a starting quarterback. But like I said, if I would love for I would be willing to do this conversation with Big Show if he has the time. We've had respectful dialogues. Big Show is one thing about Big Show. He's going to stand in his position, which I totally respect. I just disagree with him. But I respect his position, but I will not, conform to that ideology that he's on. Statistically, it's been proven you don't need a big brand name receiver to win a Super Bowl and have stability. Many teams have done it without big brand name receivers consistently, as we're seeing the modern New England Patriots. Hate to say it, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. And real quick, just because I read it right now, Mr. Mahoney says, "What's up?" And he has a question for you specifically. He wants me to ask you, to ask you, is there any favorite players that you want to pick up in free agency? They can be, besides the one you mentioned already, which is John Brown. Is there anybody else that you want to bring in, favorite player you want to bring in that can help our team get better, but not cost us a lot?
I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and say I have a favorite. I mean, I'm in favor of whoever helps us, take that next step. I don't really have an individual player or select certain type of players. Whoever doesn't mortgage our future, whoever can bring productivity to us. Brown was probably one of the few that I mentioned by name, but there's a slew of players out there that are available free agents, but there are some that I do feel like, hey, we got this guy, I'm cool, but I'm not one of the guys that want to get the bigger brand names or the big payday contract type of guys. I know like Earl Thomas, for example, is out there available free agency. I'm not a fan of acquiring him. I know he's a good talent, but he's up in his age and years, and we're talking about paying him big money because he's going to require that. And, I feel like we can go other routes and cover more ground and more holes with that same type of money and be just as effective, you know. But yeah, I don't really have like a individual, like I say, that I'm like, oh, we got to get this one guy. I mean, there's a few players out there that I'll be like cool with getting if it comes at the right price.
Uh, John Brown is 29. I know the kid like Golden Tate is another good kid that we can try to bring in. I like this kid, Dante Mitchell. I don't know if I did say his last name right, but he was playing. He played with the Colts. I don't know
Moncrief,
where he's at right
yes,
now.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I like him. I don't think he'll
Yeah.
cost us a lot. I think he'll be another kind of a John Brown type of receiver that can be effective for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think he'll demand a lot of money personally, but also the guy Adam Humphries. It's a good receiver. Two that is out there. There's so many receivers out there. If we're talking about receivers position, that they can come in and help our system. But we do have a lot of good receivers on our team now, and you don't want to overcrowd either. I understand about competition, makes players better, but I don't know if you're a big fan. I know Show isn't, so I'm not even going to ask you, but I know he does not like Kendrick Bourne at
Mm-hmm.
all. I think he can catch the ball better. I know he drops the balls, but I think that as long as they continue to work with him, at least give him one more season, I think he can be productive for us. I don't know. Personally, I'm not ready to give up on him. Has he looked good at sometimes? Yes. Has he looked bad other times? Yeah, he has. He's definitely a developmental receiver for us. But I think with the right tutors, we can develop him to be that receiver that I'm hoping he can be. What's your intake on Kendrick Bourne with us? Is it something that he can be better for us, or do you think he has to go?
And I mean, the only receiver I feel strongly about has to go is Pierre Garcon. You know,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
but
100%.
I mean, as far as Kendrick Bourne, I'm not gonna let a couple drops be like, all right, he's out again. These are certain plays. You know, I'm like this, man. I'm always been a person that believes in investing in your talent. Know what you have before you just dismiss someone. Because you can see some plays here, and you can easily look at Kendrick Bourne and say, hey, he did do some things, but yeah, he did have some critical drops in critical
Yeah.
times. So, I mean, I know Kendrick Bourne is not on the level of Terrell Owens, but just using an analogy of drops, T.O. had drops when he first started. If we were to throw him to the Wolves, we would have missed out a lot on different things. But yeah, if Kendrick Bourne can develop, man, and improve, I'm all for retaining him. But if he doesn't show improvement with getting experience in the game, and he doesn't show growth like that, and we see, hey, this is not working out, I'm all for going a different direction. But like I said, I'm more higher on like Pettis, what we have out of him. I'm still on the jury with a lot of other players, with Trent Taylor, like he's been hurt, so I'm not gonna really sit here and bash him. When he's
Yeah.
available, I want to see how he plays for a whole season. Because again, when someone's hurt for some consecutive games, it's really hard to critique someone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't care if they don't have the instant impact, like or show the flashes that people want to see. I care about how they look as week to week go. Are they improving? So if they go through playing at least majority of the season, if not every game, at least play majority of the season, I will have a better observation of what these players are capable of doing and how they look. So, but yeah, I mean, right now at this particular moment, I don't have any like real bad blood for Kendrick Bourne, but at the same time, I want to see some different things as well from him. But I like Pettis a lot. I'll say that.
And I don't know if you can see him, but our boy Bashar is
What's up,
in the
Bashar?
house.
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
Good,
Been
man. Good.
Hitman in the house.
Love the gear you got on.
I always have to wear some Niner gear if I get on here, man. That's
Hey,
just how it
I
is.
tell them the SF is for we put the SF in successful.
That's right. You got that right.
I'm always wearing the colors even when I'm not, brother. I got it right here. I don't know if you've seen it before.
There we go. Hey,
And then,
hey, Beto, you know
right
what I
here,
tell
baby.
people, man? They bleed red and they pee gold, so everybody's a Niner fan by birth.
Come on. It's funny with me. I have no uncle. I don't come from any uncles or aunts. My family's really small when it comes to that. A lot of people go, "Oh, would you brought in? I have uncles that were uncles through marriages when they got married to my older family, but I was never brought into the Niners. Actually, I was brought into a Raider family. They love the Raiders, but because I never liked to follow people, I always like to do my own thing. Because they were teaching me football and everything about the Raiders, that I decided to look elsewhere and become my own unique person, and I chose the Niners right when Bill Walsh got this little skinny leg guy from Notre Dame called Joe Montana. You know what I mean? And I, even though I watched football before, I really started getting into that. So you're right. A lot of people are not born into football. They just choose it, and I'm glad that I chose the Niners. And those that are born into football, great. That's also great too. That's a privilege too to do that. But I'm glad you're on here, Bash. I'm glad you're on here. Real quick before I bring you in further, Big Show, if you're listening, Big Show has a lot of good questions, a lot of good points. But instead of me reading out these questions through the comments and having the Hitman answer them, I think we should wait for a day, like Hitman said, that you're available, Big Show. Bring you on the show and have you and Hitman be on the show and be able to have a conversation about your prospective thoughts of the Niners. I think I would love to see it. I know the audience would love to see it. So instead of me just reading the questions to Hitman, I'd rather wait on that Big Show and bring you on a day that you're available, that both of you guys are available, and have you guys talk to each other some football. I can't wait for that. To me, that's kind of like a main event. Pacquiao fighting. I'm not into boxing. I'm trying to. Who was another good boxer? But
Mayweather.
Mayweather. That's what I was trying to think. Yeah, Mayweather. I think that'll be a good show to watch. So, if you listen to me, it's not that I'm not reading your questions. I'm not going to read the questions. I just rather have you ask those questions yourself to Mr. Hitman when you're on the show. With that said, Bash, welcome to come on here, brother. You've been hearing what is your take on the things that we've been talking about?
Actually, I was listening a little late, so it's the topics were kind of jumping around, and I wasn't really paying attention. I had it on, but I was doing a few things, so just clue me in a little bit on what's going on.
Here comes Mahoney. So make some room for Mahoney.
Oh, got Mahoney. So which one are you, Hitman? Are you Pacquiao or are you Mayweather?
I mean, honestly, man, I'm not a fan of Mayweather's behavior and antics at times in his career, but I respect him as a boxer. So I'd rather be Mike Tyson since I'm Mike the Hitman. I'm gonna knock everybody out.
I like watching Mike Tyson a whole lot back in the day in his prime, man. He was something else.
Yeah,
we got Joe.
But Mayweather's a respectable boxer, man. I got to give it up to him. He's a great boxer, man. I take nothing away from him.
Hey, if you're a pro and you can dance around like that for 12 rounds and not get hit, you're doing something right. So
hey, 50-0, man. Can't argue with it.
Yeah. We got Mahoney, Joey Mahoney.
What's up, hey man? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Joey? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How you having a good?
Oh man, life is great, brother. I'm blessed, man. Can't complain. I'm on the show with great Niner fans, man, and got a Niner Empire here listening, man. So it's great.
You gonna check out the Senior Bowl tomorrow? All the college kids coming out.
I'm actually gonna go to the Pro Bowl.
Oh wow, cool.
I already got the ticket, so I'm I'm going to an event tomorrow, but Sunday I'm going to the game, Lord will, and I'll be out there booing any Seattle player as I normally do, like I did last year.
I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
Good way to represent.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
What's up, Mahoney? What's up, brother?
How you doing, Beto? You having a good night, bro?
Yep. Always a pleasure having you on, brothers. It's the show's not a show without you. I'm glad you're on here, bro. You and Bashar, I'm glad I'm on here. I was just enjoying myself having a great conversation with Brett the Hitman Hart on here and getting his point of views. And I like your insight. I love your insight, brother. I love your thought, your train of thought. Old school, longevity of the team instead of sometimes when you cook the meal at home, it takes another way to cook it. But when you sit down to eat it, you're going to enjoy it more than fast food. So. Yes, I'm a big guy, so I use food as an analogy. So excuse me, but it's good to invest, but not over mortgage and not over give. I know a lot of us are big AB fans and Bell fans and so forth. The only guy that I want to bring in personally, that's just me, is Lawrence, DeMarcus Lawrence at a right price. But if he demands too much, then no. I think we can just continue to develop Solomon. Hopefully, Eric Armstead will change his tune in it. Although I think his last season he played better towards the end of the season, at least the run game with. And hopefully now that we have this new guy that we brought in, what's his name? The offensive line coach that we brought in. Hopefully he'll be able to. Kasurik, maybe he'll be able to
start to the K. Yeah.
Do something to that front four that can. Bring up the other three, and getting rid of, and that's a great start. We're getting rid of Mitchell. I don't know if you guys are fans. I hope you're not, but Earl Mitchell had to go. He should have went last year, but I think DJ Jones is a good kid. I think he's going to get his opportunity to step in. I think he's going to do well. But yeah. So thank you guys for joining.
Oh yeah, they were saying one day. I was wondering why. I brought this up. I think last time I was on here, maybe the time before, but I was just curious why Jeff Zgonina, the D-line coach, got fired. And what I had in mind was maybe they were just unhappy the way they were handling the Solomon Thomas situation. And lo and behold, I was listening to Better Rivals podcast, and what they revealed was Zgonina was a bit of for some reason he had Solomon Thomas in his little doghouse over there, and they didn't get along. They didn't like each other. And you know what? Solomon Thomas is never going to advance and develop if that's the case. So hopefully, what they did reveal was Greg Kocurek, the new D-line coach, is going to review a ton of film of Solomon Thomas and bring his ideas to the D coordinators and coaches and see what they can do with him and see how they can maximize his potential. So hopefully we get a return on our investment on him. I'm really crossing my fingers, but at the end of the day, we still have to draft certain players and get certain players in order to get better,
That is correct. Now I haven't really. I'm interested. I'm gonna read that in our articles. I didn't know that, but you're right. If there, Richard Reeves, what's up, my brother? If there's a conflict between a coach and a player, especially a player of that caliber of Solomon Thomas, that's not good. If he's in the doghouse for that's not good. So hopefully this new guy that comes in, he's well respected down the league. I don't know too much about him. I am more excited about Joe Woods than I am about this guy. Joe Woods, I heard of him, and when he was the defensive coordinator for the Broncos for the last 2 years with Vince. I think that he had the number 1 or number 2 defense in the backside of it. So I think he's going to do great for us. So I like the Joe Woods hire. I think I welcome him to come in and work with Solomon, to work with Robert Saleh. And I give Robert Saleh respect that he's not feeling intimidating to bring someone of that caliber that can. I don't think he would ever take his place or his job per se, but to be able to bring someone like that can come in and help him out with that backside. Because as we all know, Robert Saleh, he was linebacker coach.
Yeah,
this is the first time becoming a defensive coordinator. So he doesn't have that much experience with the secondary. So I liked it. If it was his idea to bring him in, that's great because now he can able to entrust someone like Joe Woods to handle that secondary and help him make our defense better. You guys have any comments or any?
Question from
Oh,
Mike.
you're underwater there,
Got the
Mr.
T
Honey.
Pain effect. T Pain, man.
Old school for sure.
Was I
Zapping
the one that
Roger.
heard him like that? Or did you guys hear him the same way?
Zappa Roger. That's a good one. Bo, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
hear
a
you
lot
good
better
now.
now.
Okay.
You're not moving.
Hey, Mike, I
There
got a
you go.
question. Are you if it was up to you, are you staying at 2 or would you like to trade out of it? Is there somebody that you'd like to pick at 2? Trade back? What are you doing?
Well, yeah, we were kind of discussing that earlier. You
Yeah,
know,
I kind of came in late, so I
Me
don't know
too. I
everyone.
got here late.
yeah, no worries, brothers. I'm gonna be honest. Like in the draft, it's really hard to say that I'll be stuck on someone because a lot of these guys in college, man, when they get to the next level, as you've seen, some pan out, some don't in the length of their careers. I'm just gonna say I'm not as high as Bosa as everyone else. Primarily, that's due to his injury. People say, well, players get hurt all the time. Yeah, but if you look at the games that are played in the college careers, Allen right behind him is projected. He hasn't missed any games, and Bosa has missed a ton of games. So, I don't feel comfortable getting someone who I feel might have an injury-prone issue. So as far as talent, I mean, I'm not mad if we get him, but I'm not like hey, if we don't get him, we're done. Like I feel any one of these guys have a lot of great potential. Allen has a lot of great potential. I think Farrell has potential, a lot of them. But if we trade back, um, you know, I'm fine with it if we get someone like a Jalen Ramsey from Jacksonville, depending on what package deal we get. If we can get a 7 spot, I'm okay with that. I personally would want to see an edge rusher this draft. First pick, wherever we do. If we trade back, I still want to get an edge rusher. But I'll tell you guys something, man. This might blow everybody out the water. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers did something unexpected again this year.
How do you feel about Quinnen Williams,
Williams.
tackle from Alabama?
Not even him. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they got his teammate on the offensive line side of the ball.
Jonah Williams.
Jonah Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we're going to do that, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did 2 years in a row O-line. I mean, because considering Garoppolo is our quarterback, is our investment, they're going to have to protect him. And as far as projections going, people are really high on Jonah Williams. They're thinking he's going to be that guy. He's diverse on the line. He's a unique O lineman. He
He's
can
very
play
good.
tackle, guard, and be Staley's instant replacement. So a guy of that caliber, of that magnitude, it's a need that we have. But however, I still prefer the pass rusher because we haven't addressed that in a while, and we just got a O-line last year. But it depends on free agency, Joey. If we pick up some guys in free agency, that obviously will change. Like today, right now, people are going to say one person, but then if we address some of those holes in free agency, people are going to change their tune. So
Yeah.
But I don't really have a guy that I'm like sold out on right now. To be honest with you, I'm open to whoever's going to help us win, and I want the best evaluated pass rusher that Lynch and Shanahan see.
I noticed that you talked about Mullins a little bit in Beathard. My question is in this draft or even going forward, maybe next year, do you see the 49ers maybe adding another quarterback in the draft, bringing another guy in to put behind Garoppolo? I mean, I know we have Mullins, but he's still unproven. There's a lot of question marks with him and Beathard. We know how we all feel about Beathard. So my question to you is: have backing up Garoppolo, or do you see us in maybe this year or even next year, maybe going out and trying to get a better backup?
I mean, I think that just depends on how a season pans out. If unfortunately if Garoppolo got hurt again like this year, which I hope does not happen. But if our O line is better, if our players around us is playing better, that depends, man. I couldn't really say. I will say I know a lot of people are harder on Beathard than Mullins.
Yeah.
People will say Beathard makes a lot more mistakes, crucial mistakes than Mullins did. But if you look at the games that they both played, you know, like I said earlier, I think Mullins surpassed expectations because we didn't know what to expect. Whereas Beathard, we saw him last year, we hoped for better, but then we kind of was like, he didn't
Inconsistent play.
really, yeah.
He was inconsistent. He was
But
inconsistent.
at the end of the day, you know, both to me, both of them had pros and cons. You know,
Right.
is Mullins a better quarterback? He certainly has some better results, but he didn't win on the road in this year, if I'm not mistaken. I was at the Tampa Bay game. He didn't play too great. And
Right.
the reason why I'm bringing this up, Joey, is because I want 49ers fans to really analyze what their comments are when they're comparing Beathard and Mullins. So,
Right.
you know, when Beathard played, he was in a lot of close games. Offensively, he put up a good amount of points to win games. Our defense didn't really play up to par. Now,
Right.
yeah, he had some drop offs in the second half. He did make some mistakes, but he also had to make some plays because he helped drive us down the field to score.
Right.
So I think at the end of the day, you know, Betha has shown an ability to have some flashes at times,
Yeah.
and I think he just has to improve at the end of the day. But
Right.
I like Nick Mullins, I really do. So that's going to be a competition, man. But let the best man win. Right now, I
Right.
don't have a favorite. I think both of them have good spots. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're what we win 5 games this year,
Four.
4.
Four.
I'm
Four.
giving us one more credit than we should have. Uh, we won 4 games this year, 6 last year. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
people can say what they want about Mullins, Beathard being better. We're still having a losing record.
Yep.
So I just want to see these guys take strides to getting better and let the best man win. I'm open to the competition. You know, Beathard might
Yeah.
improve.
Yeah, I know people are really hard on Bethard, but I mean, there are times that I feel that same way. But what gets me is I watched a Bethard and I saw what he did against Green Bay. You know, he looked damn good in that game.
Sure.
And then I also look at what he did against the Chargers, and he threw an interception at the 2 yard line, and the guy ran it all the way back to the 5 yard line. So I mean, yeah, it's just it's a give or take, you know. He made a mistake in the Charger game. He looked really good in the Packers game, but at the end of the day, they made a crucial mistake too in the Packer game at the end. They didn't pick up the first down when they could have, and they ended up unfortunately losing that game as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll probably still give Beathard at least one more year, see
Yeah.
what he can, just in case. I mean, hopefully we don't see him at all, actually. So, but if God forbid if we do, I mean, who knows? But maybe he does better. At third year in the Kyle Shanahan system. But I do believe we do need at least one more weapon offensively, whether that's draft, trade, free agency, whatever. But I would like to see someone else in there. You get Goodwin, Pettis, throw in someone else. That'll be nice. That'll look good. And then, like you said, get some pass rushers, a linebacker, and a safety because I really believe our safeties aren't playing very good either. Um, Tart, he made one play his whole career. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't really seen much out of him other than that. Um, Gets hurt too. You have to take that into account too. You talk about injuries. You can't judge someone off injuries, but when they're getting hurt every year, then you have to start looking at that as well. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting off season. I can't wait till it starts. Then we got free agency draft. It's going to be exciting, man. I think we're going to see a lot of new faces in the Niners, man. And let's like you said, if it's going to help our team be successful going forward, then I'm all for it. So, anyways,
Yeah, I was just gonna say one more quick thing, Joey, about the when you were mentioning some individual plays about the Chargers with Beathard. You know, this is why I feel a little bit how I feel because um, when Mullins played in Tampa Bay, we was on the 1 yard line. We had 4 attempts to score and we failed. And not to blame that on Mullins, but Mullins was the
yeah,
quarterback. And I think at the end of the day, that's not going to negate how he played against the Seahawks or how he blew out the Raiders, even though the Raiders are
right,
trash. But I think at the end of the day, people have good pros and cons. They're backups for a reason. my biggest concern is not about Beathard or Mullins. My biggest concern is some of these Niner fans that were saying Mullins needs to start over Garoppolo. I'm more concerned about that. You know, like we have a starting quarterback, $137.5 million for a reason.
Yeah,
We're not taking an undrafted free agent over.
Garoppolo's way better than any backup we have. If they don't see that, they should go back and watch Football 101 or something.
Start over Tom Brady. Let's be real. Come on.
Yeah, right. I don't even acknowledge people that say stupid things like that.
Right. So, you know, that's my whole thing. You know what I mean? I personally don't want to be in a position where we have to talk about a backup quarterback, because once we start talking, everybody's gonna have their take. You know, about Beathard and Mullins. Me personally, I think both have pros and cons. You know, whether one is better than the other, that's debatable. You know, Mullins certainly did have better results though, but you know, I know people are going to say a lot of bad things about Beathard, and that's fine. But you know, there's pros and cons. I much prefer just to say I hope I don't even have to see either one of them into a whole season. I want to say, hey, Garoppolo's out there and we're doing great. You know, I just seen a comment about people saying right now as we're speaking, Beathard is trash because he can't beat Arizona. I mean, Nick Mullins didn't beat Tampa Bay. I mean, that's again. Tampa Bay, Arizona, neither one is a great team. Both have losing records. It's kind of a moot point, man. I don't see the logic in comparing a loss and a loss to losing teams. But
real quick, Nathaniel made a good point. He says that if Garoppolo never got hurt, we definitely would not be talking about no backups right now.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it is good to know, who the backups are going to be, because unfortunately players do get hurt. If there's a team we know all too well, that is with the Eagles, how imperative it is to have a good backup. I'm not comparing Mullins or CJ to Nick Foles, but it's very imperative to have a backup on your team. They can step in and hopefully not miss a beat for a game or two when your starter goes down. So. Talking about a backup for a starter, it's not really out of place because players do get hurt. And unfortunately for Garoppolo, he got hurt for the whole year with the ACL, but sometimes quarterbacks do go down for a game or two. And who do you want to have in for that game or two, CJ or Mullins? I think both of them are going to get even better with another year. And both of them gain a lot of experience playing because Garoppolo is down on the field play. So I think that's what they learned this year is something you can't coach them, is playing live football with against a defense. So I think Mullins and CJ, but I don't see us keeping all both backups. I think we're going to get rid of one on the roster. So who do you think we're going to keep, and who do you think we're going to go? Should we keep Nick Mullins? Or should we keep CJ as a backup to Garoppolo?
From what I've seen, I stick with Mullins. From what I've seen, he just gets rid of the ball fairly quick. So in that respect, it kind of reminds me of Garoppolo a little bit, because Garoppolo likes to get rid of the ball quick. So I'm okay with him. But if the coaches are going to say have them battle it out or whatever, that's fine. CJ obviously has a stronger arm, is the more athletic of the two. So.
I think Mullins has a little bit better. I think Mullins has a little bit better pocket presence than you. I think he can read a defense a little bit better.
His awareness.
His awareness I think is a little bit better. It seems like CJ Beathard, when a guy comes around the blind side, he doesn't even feel him. He doesn't even know he's coming, and then it's a strip sack fumble, and that gets frustrating. But Mullins, he can feel. When someone's coming, sometimes he'll even get the ball out before he gets there, and if not, at least he'll protect the ball and not fumble it.
If you're wondering, I'm talking back and forth with the comments as you guys are talking. Real quick, Mr. Hitman, when you read the comments, do you have a secondary device, or can you see it on here?
I can see some of them popping up, but I'll be honest, I'm not really reading most of them. I'm just trying to focus on you guys because they're coming up like every second.
Nobody else can see them. Can you guys see them?
I don't see any comments at all. I'm just using the BeLive app on my phone. Where do you see them? You're using a secondary device, Mike?
Nah, they're like showing up on the screen that we're on. They're coming up in like orange, and I'll see like certain
Hmm.
people.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I see. So they are available,
Hmm.
just not. That's interesting that you're able to
Hmm.
see it. How about you, Mahoney? Can you see them? Oh, did we
Mike,
lose
you're using it from your app on your phone, or are you using it on your computer?
From my phone on the app.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, my app doesn't show that. It doesn't show the
Oh
Very
man.
good.
comments.
Yeah, that's interesting to know because if he can see it, then there's something that is. If he can see it, then I guess it can't be seen.
Well, it's funny
Very.
because the bottom right corner, no, bottom left corner on my app does show a little chat window, but when I click it, no messages pop up. It's just blank. So I don't know. But I was going to ask them what's going on in the chat. Do people have more questions? Since Beto, I know you can always see what's going on.
Yeah, I
Maybe
have.
we can answer some questions.
There are quite a few. I'm just trying to read through them because some of them are not to say that they don't matter, but they're just kind of like I don't want to repeat or spend time on them. Let's see here. Bret Hart, I gotta come on and chat with you, but I'm working now. Okay, so David Royce, apparently he doesn't agree with everything, and that's fine. But he'll be one that would love to have a conversation with you as well, Mr. Hitman, in the
Oh
near
sure.
future. And that's what I love that because that makes the show even more interesting to viewers. It's different opinions, the diverse people's opinions. Not everybody, like I said, not everybody's going to agree with all of us or individually. They're going to, so everybody has their points, and that's what I love. One thing I love about having four of us on here than just one person, that you get four different perspectives on a question, and everybody's going to have their own answer based on what they feel of their conviction about that question. So I'm glad you guys are on here, man. I really enjoying this show. Everyone, I've been getting a lot of feedback. People that have been watching the show afterwards. They've been telling me that they're really excited. They really enjoy it. It's very informative. They learn a lot, and the key thing is it's not a Jerry Springer Niner show. We're not fighting with one another, bickering with one another, kind of complaining, but we're agreeing and we're disagreeing, agreeing to disagree properly, and I think a lot of fans like that, and that I like that as well. So you guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome on here. Um, Corey says, question Corey has, and whoever wants to answer this question is up to you. He says, Nick Mullins is better than CJ. He gets the ball out more quicker than CJ. I think, well, I kind of just read that, but I think Mahoney kind of answered that already, if I'm not mistaken, on that. Mullins he has a better pocket presence than CJ. So let's see, Mr. Razor. Rivers tough as nails. He don't need a backup. Okay, they're talking to each other. Okay, Mr. Nate. If it weren't for the fact that we had to deal with him, he wouldn't know Brady either. Okay, see, that's one of the things I don't like to really answer questions either because they're talking to each other, and I missed the conversation between them. So I'm reading questions that they're not actually asking us; they're asking each
Okay,
other. So we're going to keep that. We're going to keep the comments to themselves. But they're talking amongst each other, which is great. They're being active that way. Let's just continue to talk what we want to talk about, our perspectives, and they can just comment with each other.
Hey, Mike.
I read the comments and they're towards each other. None of them's towards us.
Mike.
So
Hey, what's up, Joey?
I came in kind of late, so I wasn't sure if you were for Antonio Brown or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just give
I know he
quick
wasn't for him. I heard
answer.
that part.
I am against the Antonio Brown acquiring him. Reason being is I feel like right now we're not in a win mode. We're not New England where we have the luxury of acquiring a top talent receiver like they did with Josh Gordon. And then like I've been saying to individuals who wanted Gordon, he's going to be not fulfilling the season because he has a 3 years of not finishing seasons, being out, suspended 3 years, 3 seasons, and they didn't miss a beat. We're not in that position right now. we're still rebuilding. So to get a player like Antonio Brown, Mike the Hitman says no. I think we'll be giving up way too much, and he's up in his early 30s right now. I don't think that's a good move on our part if we do. I know a lot of people going to disagree with a lot of things I said tonight. I'm normally in the minority. I'm used to it. I'm probably one of the rare 49er fans that like Steve Young better than Joe Montana, so I'm used to it. But you know, I'm looking at things from a long term success viewpoint. I'm patient. I don't care about what Balky did in his draft picks. If they didn't pan out, that's in the past. We gotta look at today. I don't think Antonio Brown benefits us in any kind of way. Unless we can get him for a cheap, which he ain't gonna happen, it's pointless. We're giving up too much to get him.
Okay.
I got a topic to discuss because I know we've all been talking about the offseason, what we're going to do here, who we're going to draft, who we're going to sign, who should we keep. I have more of a fan question in mind, if you guys don't mind, that I wanted to just out of curiosity. Like, it's good for Niner fans to talk about their experiences as Niner fans, in my opinion. That way, we all get to learn more about each other. So my question is, as a 49er fan, what was the first 49er game you attended? Assuming you remember, I hope you guys remember it. And what was your experience like, and who were we playing, and who won, if you remember? And I can start that off really quick. When I was in high school, I was a sophomore in high school. Me, my brother, and my father, I went to my first Niner game. Steve Young was the quarterback. It was the year that Montana was still injured. Steve Young's first year as a starter. And we went to play Detroit Lions up in Candlestick. And it was the day they had the Oakland Fires. So while we were watching the game, like, little bits and pieces of ashes were falling on us a little bit. And we were playing Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders was there. Barry Sanders was actually the only player I liked and admired that wasn't a 49er. Amazing running back. I still think he's the greatest running back of all time. Lo and behold, the 49ers won. Steve Young threw some touchdowns. Jay Rice, I believe it might have been 2 touchdowns. So I got to see Rice score a touchdown in my first game. And it was a fun game. Unfortunately, I didn't see Barry Sanders do anything. He was getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage the majority of the game. And, the Niners were always known for having great run defense. So that was my first experience as a 49er fan, watching my team play over at Candlestick. So I don't know about you guys what your first game was.
You guys already heard my story on that a couple of times. My very first game that I watched in person was the championship game, the Niners versus the Cowboys in Candlestick, when Dwight Clark caught the ball.
Wow, that's right.
Wow, that's what's up.
So
what a first game to go to, man!
Wow.
My first game.
Catch.
And I don't know if you know this, Hitman, but one of my legacies that I have personally myself that I can't, other than the tickets, and I found them, and I got to share that with you guys. But I've been to every Super Bowl and watched it in person.
That's right. I do remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Wow.
I envy you. I envy you.
That personally, I don't say it to brag. I just say it because as a fan, it's something that it's a pride in me. It's something that I love. That I was able to do. But my first game was definitely the championship game between the Cowboys and Niners when we beat them with a catch. So what about you, Mahoney? I think Mr. Hitman stepped away for a minute.
My first game I ever went to was the New York Jets versus San Francisco 49ers in '96 when it was Garrison Hurst broke off a long touchdown run to end the game.
96 yards.
In overtime. 96
Wow.
yards. One of a memorable moment for the 49er history. I remember Jerry Rice had 1 touchdown. J.J. Stokes had 2. Steve Young had a rushing touchdown, and then I think it went into overtime, 31-31, and then or something like that. And then Garrison Hurst had the long touchdown run. It was a shootout. It was a shootout, and a lot of touchdowns were scored.
How about you, Mike?
Wow.
Hey, man. What was your first game as a Niner fan that you've attended?
Can y'all still hear me? I had to take off my
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
My first Niner game.
Yeah.
It was against some team called the Tampa Bay Succaneers. I actually went onto their plank and told them I'm gonna make them walk it. And we won that game that I went to, so I enjoyed seeing them lose.
When was this?
When Kaepernick was playing.
Okay. I remember that game. I remember Vernon Davis caught a deep touchdown that game.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
was
was a
at
nice
that game.
throw.
We was playing in Tampa Bay, so
Yeah.
But people don't realize you're in Florida, right?
yeah, I'm in Orlando, Florida, man.
Okay, so people don't realize because people might hear, well, Kaepernick didn't play that back behind, but when you don't live in California, watching games is not always that easy. So I wanted to clarify that. I don't want people to come on here and start making comments. Well, you started watching the first game with Kaepernick, but I'm pretty sure it's because you're in Florida, not because that was your first actual game or realization of the Niners. So I want to clarify. I know people already come on here and make a comment to that, but
yeah.
so I want to clarify that out.
I appreciate that, Beto. Me personally, I don't worry about what people say because I feel like the thing with people
I love that about you.
They need to understand somebody's situation before they make a comment. So if they make a comment based upon me saying my first 49 game was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I will add some depth to that. I wasn't living in America for the first 14 years of my life. So I could not leave Europe or South Korea to come to America and watch the San Francisco 49ers. It wasn't happening. So, like I say, man, I don't worry about people say if people have something constructive to say or they're like, hey, this guy's been a Niners fan for a while. Why is his first game when he moved to Florida? Maybe because I wasn't living in the States for a while. Simple. But I've always been a Niners fan since I started watching American sports. That was my first team that I got introduced to when I started watching American sports. And I saw glimpses of it when I was living in Germany. But once I moved to the States, I started watching it more. And I just stayed with the team. And that's it.
Mike, who
the rest is history.
49ers?
I couldn't hear you, Joey.
Who introduced you to the 49ers? You said you were out of state. You lived in another country. I'm just curious. Who introduced you to be a 49er fan? How'd you hear about it?
I believe God did, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. we didn't have we got things at that time. We didn't have all the social media of today. So when you're living over there, anyone who had a parent or something in the military knows about the AFN network, and you would see English. You would see a few English channels. So when I watched the English sports, the first team I saw was the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
I was fascinated with American football because I never really been exposed to it. I grew up watching foosball, the real football, as they say in Europe. But once I moved to the States, I started watching it more. And then I was like, okay, I stuck with the Niners. That's the first team I ever got exposed to. That's the team I watched consistently. So became a Niner fan technically over there, but got more official with it when I moved to the States. I started following them more.
Okay.
Very good.
But Beto, for all those who got something to say, man, I live in Orlando, Florida. I can't fly to California every game. I wish I could, but I tell you what, I am trying to come out to Santa Clara really, really soon to watch a game out there in the Bay Area. So that's my dream. That's my goal. But when they come to Florida or anywhere within the region, maybe Atlanta, I will go see the Niners every time they come. Like they're playing in Tampa Bay this year. I'm already booked. I'm going. And Jacksonville in a few more years. So I already got it figured out.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now, Mr. Hitman. If you do come down, when you do, my home is open to you. I live right here in Riverbank by Modesto. My home is open to you or whoever you come with. You guys can stay here while you're in Cali. I'll open my doors to you, brother.
Man, that's love, bro. I appreciate you, man. Biggest thing I want to do when I come out there, man, I want to see all y'all, man. I want to go out there and tailgate with all y'all, man. And I'm gonna try to paint my face red and gold. Get our boys on, man.
I believe him. He would do it too. I believe it.
I'm sure you would.
Hey, I originally came from Germany, man. Soccer fans go hard for their team, so I'll do it for the American football too.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it. You gotta have fun.
Yeah,
That,
no doubt.
I don't know if you see me in here, but I'll wear I got my Niner poncho and I'll wear my Niner mask on and I'll do a show with that. And people like, aren't you no too old for? I'm like, listen, you're never too old for football.
Right.
Football is it's a kid sport. It's a fun sport. It's a hobby. So if you can't have fun watching football, man, then maybe that's not the sport for you. So, but I like your comment real quick, Mr. Hitman. You're right, and that's something I gotta remind myself a lot is my wife tells me that all the time. She's like, don't worry, nobody else's opinion matters or dictates who you are as a person. So people are always going to say what they're going to say, regardless if it's positive or negative. Because you know who you are and you stay true to yourself. As long as you can do that, you'll be fine. So when you said that, it reminded me that it's so true. People will make comments, people will make statements, but as long as you stay true to yourself, you know where you're at. It doesn't matter if anybody else does. If someone cares to know, they can actually ask instead of making a comment about it. So I agree with 100% with that. We've been on here for a while, guys. So I kind of been wanting to keep it on. We've been over an hour because it's been very interesting. But I try not to keep it for too long because I want viewers to continue to watch more and come back. But I love having you on here, Mr. Hitman. I hope it's not your first and last. I hope this is your first of many on here. Yes.
You gotta call Hitman. He's a big Bret Hart fan, man, from the WCW. You gotta say he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Oh man,
Come on now, come on.
Hey,
I hear you. Yes, he is, man.
I appreciate that, Joey. I'm gonna say that saying goes to all of us in the Niner Empire. We are the best there is. We are the best there was, and we are damn sure the best there ever will be. Damn it.
Absolutely. We have the best fan base in the world, the best team. We rep the best team in the NFL. We have the best organization, 5 Super Bowls, back in that era, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, back to back. A lot of teams don't produce that. So you guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. We went over a little bit over the 300 comments on here. So people were very active tonight. You guys were awesome. I would like to continue to have more shows frequently. We'll talk more on the Niner Sickness chat group about it. But thank you for coming in. Bashar, thank you for coming in late. Mahoney, thank you as well for bringing your presence. You guys are awesome. Again, sir, I love you guys, each and every one of you. Continue to do what you do. Continue to rep the Niners no matter what. And we're going to look forward, man. So I'm excited to look to our next show. For every person that came in, thank you from the bottom of my heart. For every viewer that participated in the comments, you guys are the best. And for those that came in that are not Niner fans but kept it respectful, I appreciate that as well. I don't mind other fans coming in here, but if you, like the saying goes, if you have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And I appreciate that respect that you guys gave who came in here. Thank you. So I'm going to call it a night, gentlemen. We don't have to. We can log off of here. We don't have to log off right away. We can talk after we go offline. So hang in there, and then we'll get offline, and then we'll just continue to talk for a minute or so. But for the ones watching the show, thank you for watching the Niner Sickness Show. Continue to tune in. Please share the video, share the show with your family and friends. Invite your families to watch. If you do not belong to a group on Facebook, Niner group, please come to my group. It's the North Cal NWA, which is Niners with Attitude. You guys are welcome to be part of that group. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. Hang in and don't hang up, and I'm going to call it a night. Peace. Niners for life.
Niners all day.
Red and gold.
Red and cold.